What if the way you start your morning after 55 could literally decide whether you just grow older or live 40 more energetic, independent years? Most people think longevity is about genetics, but science shows your first hour of the day programs your metabolism, your brain, and even how fast you age. In the next few minutes, I'm going to show you a simple morning approach that can transform your energy, protect your health, and help you stay strong for decades to come. So make sure you watch till the end because this could completely change how you look at your morning starting tomorrow. Your morning routine acts like a control center for how your body and mind will function for the rest of the day. And over time, it quietly shapes the direction of your health and longevity. When you wake up, your hormones, brain chemistry, and metabolism are in a highly responsive state, which means the signals you send in that first hour are amplified. If the day begins with stress, rushing, and inactivity, your body interprets that as a pattern to repeat, reinforcing higher stress hormones, lower energy regulation, and less efficient metabolism. But when the morning starts with intention, even small positive actions begin to set a different biological tone, nudging your system toward balance, resilience, and sustained energy. This is why the first hour after waking is often called a metabolic window, because your hydration levels, movement, light exposure, and mental state all influence how your body burns fuel, regulates blood sugar, and manages inflammation throughout the day. Over months and years, these daily signals accumulate, shaping cardiovascular health, muscle preservation, and even cognitive performance. The beauty of this is that you don't need extreme routines to create impact. Consistency is far more powerful than intensity. A calm start lowers the nervous system's fight or flight response, which helps protect the heart and supports better immune function, while early movement activates circulation and wakes up muscle fibers that tend to weaken with age. Exposure to natural light anchors your internal clock, improving sleep quality later, and quality sleep is when the body repairs tissues, balances hormones, and consolidates memory, all of which are essential for long-term vitality. Even the mental tone you set in the morning influences your brain's wiring, because repeated emotional states strengthen neural pathways, making focus, optimism, and resilience easier to access over time. When this becomes a daily pattern, it creates a cascade effect where better mornings lead to better choices throughout the day, from nutrition to activity levels, reinforcing a cycle of health rather than decline. The first hour essentially becomes a daily vote for the kind of future you want, because your body is always adapting to the environment you create for it. This is why two people of the same age can feel decades apart in energy and capability, not because of luck, but because of repeated daily cues that shape how their systems function. When you treat your morning as a deliberate starting point instead of a rushed obligation, you give your physiology a stable foundation that supports endurance, clarity, and strength, and over time that foundation becomes the difference between simply getting older and continuing to feel capable, engaged, and physically confident as the years continue to unfold without your body slipping into the automatic patterns of decline that come from neglect and inconsistency, allowing each new day to reinforce the biological message that your system should stay active, efficient, and prepared for movement, growth, and adaptation as the cycle repeats again the next morning and continues reinforcing the same trajectory day after day with subtle but powerful effects building quietly in the background as your systems keep responding to the signals you send at the very start of your day, which keep shaping how efficiently your body manages energy, stress, and recovery over time and influencing the pace at which aging processes express themselves in your daily life through the accumulation of these repeated early signals, shaping your long-term path towards sustained vitality and functional independence across the years ahead. Small daily habits may seem almost invisible in the moment, but over time they behave like tiny investments that grow through consistency, gradually shaping your health in ways that feel effortless yet profound. The body is constantly adapting to what you repeatedly do, not what you occasionally attempt. Which means even the simplest morning actions quietly train your metabolism, your muscles, and your brain to operate in a certain way. A glass of water after waking supports circulation and cellular function, and when repeated every day, it helps maintain hydration levels that influence energy, digestion, and even joint comfort. Gentle movement, whether it's stretching, walking, or light mobility work, signals your muscles to stay active and your joints to stay lubricated, reducing stiffness and preserving range of motion as the years pass. These actions might only take a few minutes, yet the cumulative effect over months and decades becomes significant because the body responds to patterns with remarkable precision. Consistency strengthens neural pathways as well, meaning the more often you perform a positive habit, the less effort it takes to repeat, eventually turning what once required discipline into something automatic. This is where the real power lies, because automatic healthy behaviors reduce decision fatigue and make it easier to maintain a lifestyle that supports longevity. Sunlight exposure in the morning, for example, helps regulate your internal clock, improving sleep cycles, and better sleep enhances recovery, hormone balance, and cognitive clarity, all of which compound over time into stronger overall health. Even small nutritional choices, like including protein and fiber early in the day, stabilize blood sugar and prevent energy crashes, creating a steady rhythm that reduces strain on the body's regulatory systems. The key is not perfection but repetition, because the human body thrives on predictable signals that reinforce stability. Over years, these small acts influence muscle retention, cardiovascular efficiency, and metabolic flexibility, quietly lowering the risk of chronic conditions that often develop from prolonged neglect rather than sudden causes. Psychologically, daily habits also build confidence because each completed action reinforces the belief that you are capable of caring for your future self, and that belief makes it easier to stay consistent. This creates a positive feedback loop where progress fuels motivation and motivation sustains progress, allowing health improvements to accumulate without feeling overwhelming. Many people underestimate how powerful incremental change can be, expecting dramatic transformations, yet the most reliable improvements often come from steady routines that are simple enough to maintain indefinitely. Over decades, the difference between sporadic effort and consistent practice becomes dramatic, with one path leading to gradual decline and the other to sustained vitality and independence. Each morning habit becomes a quiet signal telling your body to repair, strengthen, and maintain. And when those signals are repeated day after day, they build a resilient foundation that supports energy, mobility, and mental clarity far into the future, proving that longevity is rarely the result of one big decision, but rather the outcome of thousands of small choices stacking together over time and shaping the trajectory of how you feel, move, and function as the years continue to pass and your system keeps adapting to the consistent cues you provide through these simple, repeated actions that keep reinforcing balance and stability across your physical and mental processes as the cumulative effect keeps expanding gradually without needing dramatic changes or extreme efforts. Strength and mobility form the foundation of how well you age because they directly determine how freely and confidently you can move through everyday life. And after 55, they become even more important than numbers on a scale or even traditional measures of fitness. As the years pass, the body naturally loses muscle mass in a process known as age-related muscle decline, and joints can become stiffer if they aren't moved regularly, which gradually affects balance, posture, and overall stability. The encouraging reality is that the body remains highly responsive to movement, and even gentle, consistent activity in the morning can slow or reverse much of this decline by signaling your muscles and connective tissues to stay engaged. When you activate your muscles early in the day, you stimulate blood flow and oxygen delivery, which nourishes tissues and improves coordination, while also waking up the nervous system pathways that control balance and reaction time. This is critical because falls and mobility limitations are among the biggest factors that reduce independence later in life, yet they are often preventable through regular strength and flexibility work. Morning movement doesn't have to be intense to be effective. Simple bodyweight exercises, stretching, or a short walk can activate major muscle groups and maintain joint range, helping you feel more capable throughout the day. Over time, these sessions build functional strength, the kind that makes daily tasks like climbing stairs, carrying groceries, or getting up from a chair feel effortless instead of tiring. Mobility work also keeps connective tissue supple, which reduces discomfort and allows the body to move efficiently without compensating in ways that can lead to strain or injury. Beyond the physical benefits, There's a psychological effect as well, because feeling physically capable boosts confidence and encourages you to stay active, creating a cycle where movement leads to more movement. Strength training in particular helps maintain bone density, which becomes crucial as the risk of bone loss increases with age, supporting structural stability and reducing the likelihood of fractures. Regular movement also improves metabolic health by increasing insulin sensitivity and supporting healthy weight management, which further protects cardiovascular function. Over months and years, these adaptations translate into a body that feels responsive rather than restricted, allowing you to maintain independence and continue doing the activities you enjoy. Many people assume that slowing down is inevitable, yet much of what feels like aging is actually the result of reduced use because the body prioritizes efficiency and gradually sheds capabilities it no longer needs. When you keep challenging your muscles and joints in small, consistent ways, you remind your system that strength and flexibility are still required, and it continues investing energy in maintaining them. This ongoing investment creates resilience, making recovery quicker and reducing the impact of minor setbacks. The long-term effect is not just physical capability, but a sense of freedom. Because when your body feels strong and mobile, you can engage fully with life instead of planning around limitations, allowing each day of movement to reinforce the biological message that your system should remain capable, stable, and adaptable as the years continue to pass and your daily actions keep strengthening the pathways that support balance, coordination, and endurance while your body keeps responding to those repeated signals by preserving the functions that allow you to stay independent and active across the decades ahead. Mental focus and a sense of purpose play a powerful role in how long and how well you live, because the brain is not just an observer of your life. It is an active regulator of your body's health, influencing everything from hormone balance to inflammation levels. When you begin your day with intention, you give your mind a direction before distractions and stress take over, and that simple act shapes your emotional state for hours afterward. The brain is constantly scanning for meaning and predicting what matters, so when you consciously choose to focus on something positive or meaningful in the morning, you train it to prioritize optimism and engagement rather than worry and reactivity. Over time, this repeated focus strengthens neural pathways associated with resilience, making it easier to handle challenges without becoming overwhelmed. This matters because chronic stress doesn't just affect mood, it elevates cortisol and other stress hormones that, when persistently high, can weaken the immune system, strain the cardiovascular system, and accelerate many aging processes. A purposeful start helps counteract that by activating brain regions linked to motivation and reward, releasing neurotransmitters like dopamine that increase drive and mental clarity. This creates a ripple effect throughout the day, making it more likely that you stay active, make healthier choices, and interact with others in a more positive way. Purpose also provides a psychological anchor, a reason to get up and engage with life, which research consistently associates with longer lifespan and lower risk of cognitive decline. It doesn't have to be something grand. Even small intentions like learning a new skill, helping someone, or working toward a personal goal can give the brain a sense of direction that keeps it stimulated and adaptable. The brain thrives on novelty and challenge, and when you regularly engage it with meaningful thoughts or activities, you support neuroplasticity, the ability of the brain to form new connections and maintain cognitive sharpness. Emotional well-being also influences physical health through behavioral pathways, because when you feel purposeful and mentally grounded, you are naturally more consistent with habits that support your body. There's also a social dimension, as people who maintain a sense of meaning are more likely to stay connected with others, and social engagement is one of the strongest predictors of longevity and mental health. Each morning becomes an opportunity to reinforce the identity you want to carry forward, whether that's someone who is curious, active, compassionate, or growth-oriented. And over time, that identity shapes your actions almost automatically. The mind and body are deeply interconnected, so when your thoughts are aligned with purpose, your physiology tends to follow, supporting steadier heart rhythms, better sleep patterns, and more balanced energy levels. This doesn't mean every morning needs to feel perfect or inspired, but consistently giving your attention A constructive direction trains your brain to look for opportunities instead of threats, gradually shifting your baseline emotional state toward calm confidence. As this pattern repeats day after day, it becomes part of your internal environment, influencing how you perceive challenges, how quickly you recover from setbacks, and how motivated you feel to stay engaged with life. Allowing the steady reinforcement of meaning and focus to keep shaping your mental and emotional landscape in ways that support long term vitality and cognitive strength as the years continue unfolding, and your brain keeps adapting to the intentions you repeatedly set at the start of each day, which quaintly guide your behavior and physiology toward sustained engagement and resilience. It's never too late to extend your health span because the human body retains an extraordinary capacity to adapt and improve regardless of age. And even small lifestyle adjustments can trigger meaningful changes in how your systems function. Many people assume that once they pass a certain number, the trajectory of their health is fixed, but biology tells a different story, showing that muscles can grow stronger, cardiovascular efficiency can improve, and brain function can sharpen well into later decades when the right signals are consistently provided. This adaptability exists because your cells are constantly renewing and responding to your environment, meaning the choices you make today begin influencing how you feel within weeks and how you age over years. Starting later in life often brings an advantage as well, because there is greater awareness of what truly matters, which makes it easier to focus on habits that are sustainable rather than extreme. Even modest increases in physical activity improve circulation and oxygen delivery, supporting heart health and energy levels, while better nutrition helps regulate blood sugar and reduces chronic inflammation, both of which are key drivers of many age-related conditions. Improvements in sleep quality, stress management, and social engagement further reinforce these changes, creating a comprehensive shift toward resilience. What's encouraging is that research consistently shows measurable benefits from lifestyle changes even in people who begin in their 60s, 70s, or beyond, demonstrating that the body continues to respond positively when given consistent care. There is also a psychological transformation that happens when you realize progress is still possible, because hope itself becomes a motivator, encouraging continued effort and reinforcing a growth mindset that supports long-term consistency. This mindset reduces the feeling of being limited by age and replaces it with a sense of agency, which influences behavior in ways that promote better health outcomes. The concept of health span emphasizes not just living longer, but maintaining function and independence. And this is largely shaped by the habits you choose to repeat rather than the years you have already lived. Each new routine you adopt sends a message to your body that it is still required to maintain strength, flexibility, and efficiency. And the body responds by allocating resources toward those functions. Over time, these adaptations accumulate, leading to improved stamina, sharper thinking, and greater confidence in daily activities. The idea that change must happen early in life often discourages people from starting. Yet the evidence shows that improvements can occur at any stage because the biological mechanisms that support repair and adaptation remain active. When you begin to prioritize your health later in life, you're not trying to erase the past, but rather redirect the future, allowing each positive choice to build momentum and create a new baseline of well-being. This momentum grows with consistency, gradually transforming what once felt difficult into a natural part of daily life, reinforcing the belief that progress is always possible and that the years ahead can be shaped by intentional actions rather than assumptions about aging, allowing the steady accumulation of healthier patterns to keep enhancing energy, mobility, and mental clarity as your body continues to respond to the care you provide and keeps adjusting its systems to support a more vibrant and capable version of yourself across the decades still to come.